Six empty backfield. Bears rush for Cousins to the end zone. Touchdown! Adam Thielen with a touchdown. He has two, and the Vikings have taken a 19-13 lead.
Vikings radio is the Vikings. What again? It started out as the most disappointing team in the National Football League, going on the road on Monday night. Beat Bears, who started out as maybe the biggest surprise. The cream rises, it all evens out. Once you get to week 11, you start to figure out who is who. 19-11, the Vikings over the Bears, or 19-13, Vikings over the Bears last night. You heard the game here on your home for the National Football League, the sports animal. Merry Tuesday to you. See opening drive on 95.9 AM 610 the Sports Animal. Lots to do today because the NBA is heating up with the draft next week and free agency open and trades, free agency opening soon and the trades moving. You are watching guys go back and forth, big names moving, big teams making big moves. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Mike Alden, and Jay Pohl on the Proby side. JJ, Minnesota Vikings make the move in maybe they are I don't know contenders? Pretenders? What are they?
They're playoff contenders. The Minnesota Vikings played an exceptional game offensively to do that against the Bears defense. The Bears offense is absolutely embarrassing. They are wasting a championship level defense. They've lost 4 in a row. They can't score points in the third quarter. By the way, this entire season, they've scored 10 points in the third quarter, so come out at halftime. They haven't gotten a boost. They haven't been able to tweak things. They are just no good offensively, and an incredible defense is going to waste and will be wasted with this offense.
And they got worse because it looks like Nick Foles. I don't know what the injury is. I hate to sit here and speculate, but when a guy gets carted off after getting thrown down and grabs his lower back or ribs or hip or whatever it was that he was grabbing, you start to assume, well, maybe that their quarterback isn't going to be back anytime soon. And I'm going to assume in this case, maybe their quarterback isn't going to be back anytime soon. I know assuming is not really the greatest way to go with this, but I'm going to
assume that because that's certainly what it looked like. And so you're going with some guy that you never heard of last night. Mitchell Trubisky probably gets another run now with the Bears. I don't know that Mitchell Trubisky makes you feel any better than Nick Foles did.
At this point in time, can it really be worse for the Bears offense? Mitchell Trubisky at least can make some plays outside the pocket, but he's been dealing with his shoulder injury, and that's why he was not available last night. He wasn't the backup quarterback. It was Tyler Bay who came in, and the Bears offense is already bad, and now it has an even bigger question at the quarterback position with that injury to Nick Foles, and you just got to be incredibly frustrated if you're a Chicago fan watching how good that defense played. They kept Dalvin Cook in check. The scoring drives were tough. That's why I give a ton of credit to Kirk Cousins on the throws that he made to Adam Thielen. That first catch was fantastic, one-hander by Adam Thielen, and Minnesota was able to step up and play fine defensively because Chicago is so bad offensively. But then you bring it up, Minnesota is a team that's starting to click. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, that's very good skill position players. And really look at Kirk Cousins, and he's a guy that you're like, just steer the ship, just keep us going in the right direction. And that's what they're able to do on Monday Night Football. Plus, he's not 0-for anymore. He got his first win on Monday Night Football.
Are you muted, Jeff?
Kirk Cousins had been 0-9 until winning last night, so that's a big deal. He kept the football, and it was a big deal for him. So in that division, the Vikings are 4-5. They're a half game behind the Bears, and again, there's the extra playoff spot. And so if you start looking around, the Packers are 7-2 in that division. You figure, all right, one team's coming out of the East, and you figure 2 out of the South, the Packers. If you say 2 out of the West, there's 1 spot left. Now, there may be 3 out of the West, right? Right now, Arizona, Seattle, and the Rams are all tied at 6-3. And which is better than where the Vikings are, and it looks like the Bears are headed south. So I don't know. I think the Vikings have opportunity in front of them. They've got winnable games in front of them. And to your point, they've got weapons. Their defense has gotten better. Kirk Cousins is all right. They get the Cowboys, Panthers, and Jaguars next. All 3 obviously winnable games, right? Cowboys, Panthers, and Jaguars next.
And that's why they're right back in being a playoff contender with that extra wild card spot. It's a team that was very bad defensively to start the season. You got Dalvin Cook in rhythm, and it's a huge step forward when you know, all right, it's not going to be a Dalvin Cook game. As good as he is, this Bears defense is that much better. And then to just see an efficient game from Kirk Cousins against that defense was really impressive, but it also just highlights how terrible the Bears are offensively.
There's another team that's like that, and we watched them on Sunday night. How similar do you think, and I can't believe we're saying this because we were anointing Lamar Jackson the next something, whatever. But I watched a team on Sunday night who's got a really good defense in the Ravens, who struggle incredibly offensively. And I wonder in the AFC if that's going to be the same kind of situation, right? Now, I think the Bears defense is a little bit better than the Ravens, but I think they got the same issue right now. Yeah, the Ravens can go out and beat bad teams, but their offense is struggling right now, and I think they've got a very similar situation. You think I'm going too far with that?
I don't think you're going too far with that. Lamar Jackson should be better. The Ravens offense should be, but guess what? Should be doesn't matter. Should be gets you in trouble, and that's exactly what we saw on Sunday Night Football. Lamar Jackson is not playing good football. The passing game, we know it's not going to be great, but it needs to be efficient, and it's all built off running the football, making plays outside the pocket. It was an ugly game anyway on Sunday night, but it's an overall issue with Baltimore throughout the entire season.
Yeah, I think both those. So as we go now, kind of hitting the stretch. I mean, we're week 11. You've got most teams. Well, everybody's played 10. 6 and 3. Everybody's played 9. Most teams have played 10. Where do you evaluate it now? Who are your front runners? I told you before the season. Who are your Super Bowl pick? Mine was the Ravens and the Saints, which isn't looking very good right now. Who'd you have? Did you make a Super Bowl pick before we get started?
I can't say I did, so I don't know what I would have assumed before the season, because now I'd just be going off what I've seen so far.
Yeah, no, I had the Ravens and the Saints going in. I don't like it, obviously. Who wins the NFC South? Drew Brees now has broken ribs, a punctured lung. This is why they signed Jameis. They got Jameis on the cheap for $1 million. It's going to be really interesting to see how much Jameis do we see, how much Taysom Hill do we see, how long is Drew Brees out? We're hearing weeks. Well, okay, 2 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks. Well, I mean, weeks, man. I mean, what does that mean? The man's 40, 41 years old, multiple cracked ribs, and a punctured lung. I'm going to guess that's a while. I'm not a doctor, but I went to WebMD and said, cracked ribs keeps you out for weeks. I don't know what the heck that means. So, Jameis, here's your shot to earn a paycheck next year, right? Probably a pretty good backup quarterback. Jameis Winston was a starter in this league for 3-4 years. Favorite in the NFC South is now who? The Saints have beat the Buccaneers twice, but wouldn't you say it's the Buccaneers?
That's what you'd have to be feeling right now, coming off what we saw this weekend. Jameis Winston, you just don't know. We think he can be better, and we think New Orleans is built to succeed with a quarterback like Jameis Winston. But if you're the Saints, the good thing is the next 3 weeks, it's Atlanta, Denver, Atlanta, and then Philadelphia. So the next 4 actually are very, very favorable games. So that keeps them right there in the conversation.
Yeah, assuming Jameis can play. Look, Atlanta's playing better. So I don't want to sit here and tell you I think Atlanta's a pushover because they've been winning some games. But if you're a team that's thinking you're going to the Super Bowl, like New Orleans thinks they're going to the Super Bowl, then you should be able to beat Atlanta with your backup quarterback and Jameis Winston. And that's who your quarterback is. But I look at it now and I'm like, well, I mean, Tampa got back on track. They got paddled 2 Sunday nights ago, and we all sat there, or Monday night, whatever it was on national TV, watched them get pantsed. But New Orleans is different. Now, we'll see. Jameis came in. You know, one thing they haven't done in the 2 games since Michael Thomas has been back is look at Michael Thomas. Their offense has been subpar. Maybe they start involving Michael Thomas. Maybe Jameis brings them a different element. Maybe a mixture of Jameis and Taysom Hill, because I think their defense is pretty good. I think their defense is quite underrated. And we watched them play against Tampa Bay, and I thought that we all sat here the next morning, JJ, and said if their defense plays like that, that's a Super Bowl team, right? We all sat here after the Saints destroyed Tampa Bay. So but who's your favorite now? Injuries shake everything up, and big injuries. Jim G early, Jim Garoppolo took the 49ers out of it, plus all their injuries. Now it's Drew Brees, Nick Foles. I don't know. The Bears might get better. The Bears could get better with Nick Foles out. I don't know. Maybe Trubisky gets another run. Is he back next week? Is he healthy enough to be back next week, Trubisky?
I don't know. I think it's to be determined where he's at with his shoulder. That's a huge question mark for Chicago.
Yeah. All right. Another quarterback that'll be back, we believe this week, will be the Cowboys quarterback. Not that Cowboys quarterback. We'll talk about the Cowboys and get through more of the National Football League injuries. We got a ton of NBA stuff to go through. Boy, oh boy, are they active. And there's a couple I don't understand. And I'm going to lean on you a bit to help me understand it, because there's one I look at, I'm like, I just don't get it. It's the opening drive. 505-246-0610 is how to get in today. Jeff, JJ, Micah, J. Pull, and Alden on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Titus and Tate break down all you need to know.
Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide coaches award program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
It's his second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off Romero. A 3 for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos. Step back. High arcing. 20!
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, a little kick.
They leave it one more time. Two-hand hammer. Up top! Yes, and the finish for Akbayosi. Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack to Davina Lovato. Up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in. He got
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the
Cordero
deep
Patterson
ball.
will have an opportunity about 5 yards deep. Comes up on the right hash. Angles to the 10, to the 15, to the 20. Gets a block, 25, 30, 35, 40. Gets by barely. There goes the pony. Down the sideline. 10, 5, end zone. Touchdown. Touchdown Bears. And a record-tying touchdown by Cordero Patterson against his old team. And the Bears strike quickly in the woeful third quarter, and it's 12-7 Bears.
You can hear Cordero Patterson whooping it up down the sideline in an empty stadium. That was Bears radio. Cordero Patterson was used in a number of ways yesterday. I actually really liked the way the Bears' struggling offense used their playmaker. They ran him out of the backfield, got him the ball in as many ways as they can. I thought he was their most effective weapon yesterday, but they didn't win. 19-13, the Vikings were winners on Monday Night Football, and it's a team that's sinking and a team that's rising. The Vikings rising, the Bears sinking. But I do like the way they used Cordero Patterson. I think he may be their most effective, their best offensive weapon, and they decided they wanted to get him the ball, and they did.
Yes, and they still had 149 yards total offense.
All right. I mean,
he was 12 carries for 30 yards, caught a couple passes. They have to do everything possible to manufacture stuff, and I agree with you that Cordell Patterson's been nice for them, but man, they are so bad. They are, for as good as the defense that they have a like number one picks type of offense, like just dreadful right now.
Yeah, they're beat up at running back, certainly. They're deficient at quarterback. So how long does the Nick Foles thing go? Like I mean, I don't even know. He's upper 30s now, and he won a Super Bowl. It's like when you become a Super Bowl coach. So you win a Super Bowl, you're going to get a job, right? If you won a Super Bowl, well, I mean, Doug Peterson, the guy in Philly, must be a genius because he won a Super Bowl, by the way, with Nick Foles. You watch coaches who win a championship, well, they've got to be bright. They won a championship. Same relatively with a quarterback. This quarterback has had one really good year as a starter. One. He had that 1 year where he threw 20-something touchdowns and one interception. Then he lost his job. Then he came in and won a Super Bowl as a backup, came in as a backup again, went to the playoffs, got traded to be a starter to Jacksonville, lost his job to, I believe, Gardner Minshew in Jacksonville because he hurt his shoulder, and then got traded to the Bears to compete with Mitchell Trubisky. Couldn't win the job coming out of camp, won the job coming in now and can't win. And replaced the quarterback, by the way. Wasn't Trubisky when they replaced him 3-0? 4-0? They were undefeated, right? After they replaced him? If not, they were 4-1, 3-1. They were in first place, and they were one of those stories. How long does this go?
To this point right now, depending on the severity of his injury, like Nick Foles is a backup quarterback in the NFL. And when he's tried to be more, it just has not worked out for him. And this is also, look at Matt Nagy. a guy that he wanted to bring in to compete with Mitchell Trubisky, so he had a level of trust or faith in him as a quarterback. They're not like deficient in the wide receiver game. So if you're looking at a system that was supposed to be really good with Matt Nagy coming in, you just want an effective quarterback play. Like it feels like Nick Foles should be that guy with Allen Robinson, Anthony Miller, Mooney, who is a good rookie receiver, and yet none of it works. And so I think you start looking at Matt Nagy. Obviously, there's good decision makers still in the franchise because defensively, they got the talent, they got the coaches, they got the system, but offensively, it is very bad. And Nick Foles is, if he's healthy, yeah, he's going to play at some point this year. The same thing with Mitchell Trubisky, but there's not the future quarterback is not on the Chicago Bears roster right now.
Yeah, and you start talking. I keep throwing Sam Darnold up because I think he gets a shot somewhere next year. This is going to be interesting now for Jameis, right? Jameis, I don't know if Cam's the guy in New England next year. Does someone give Cam a shot next year? Jameis is auditioning for a job right now. Is Marcus Mariota in the mix next year, or is it all rookies? Because who's going to be on the market? And this is a lot of job auditioning right now. Jameis has a ton to play for. And that's why I keep going back to New Orleans and Jameis. And everybody's telling me that the Buccaneers are the obvious favorites now in the NFC South. And I understand where that is. They're a half game back, but in reality, they're a game and a half back because the Saints have swept them. So I look at this, and it does tie into the Bears a little bit because I think Jameis could fit in there if Jameis proves himself. Jameis Winston has won games in the NFL. Jameis is, what was the number last year? 30 and 30, right? Touchdown passes and interceptions. If Jameis can control the football, hold on to the football, not turn it over, then I go back to New Orleans and say they still have Alvin Kamara. They still have Michael Thomas. They still have a really good defense. I still think that they might be the favorites in the NFC South. I guess I'm super non-committal because I want to see him play a game. I want to see him play once, not just come up in that mop-up duty the other day. But he's auditioning for a job, and I look at places like the Bears, like San Francisco, right? There's places who think they're good that might believe that they're a quarterback away. I don't know what's going to happen in Indianapolis next year. Is Phillip Rivers around for another year? And so the quarterback play is huge. I think Andy Dalton's auditioning for a job if he can get healthy, right? I don't know that he's ever going to get one again just because of perception, but Andy Dalton was a good quarterback in the NFL for a number of years. So I think there's a lot of quarterbacks in these last 6-7 weeks who are auditioning for a job for next year.
Yeah, there's always a job on the line. With Jameis Winston, it's decision-making. Because you look at Tampa Bay, they're not that much different this year than last year. And all of a sudden, we think that they are a contender in the NFC. And what's the change? The quarterback. So this is a huge opportunity for Jameis Winston to just show his growth, ability to still make plays down the field, because they're actually going to be more explosive downfield with Jameis Winston. It's, are you going to be more explosive in a good way, or is it still going to be that 50-50? Yeah, this is really cool. Jameis Winston just threw 3 interceptions, but he's also got 2 really bad turnovers.
Well, I would argue that they're a bit different. Gronk, Brady, Antonio Brown, Leonard Fournette. Now, granted, Evans and Godwin and Rojo are still big cogs in their offense, and their defense is good. But yeah, obviously the quarterback. All right, Andy Dalton's going to be back on. He's been cleared to practice. He's going to be back. The Vikings are who's next for the Cowboys. But I look at what they've got. I don't think they can turn this around. Right? I still think the Vikings are better than them. Washington's a toss-up. Then they get the Ravens, who I think is still better than them. And then the Bengals and 49ers. If they can, and then the Eagles and Giants. If they, and I can't even believe I'm having this conversation. They're 2-7. If they can beat the Vikings or the Ravens, both on the road, they're a game and a half back of first place at 2-7, man. The Eagles are 3-5-1. Cowboys aren't good enough, right? I mean, I just stop me because their defense is horrid.
Yes, we can have that conversation because all those teams are terrible. So it's not crazy when you say, oh, you win 2 games, you're right back in the conversation. Oh, you win 3 of your next 5, you're in first place. It's because everyone is bad. So it's not a crazy conversation because it's reality, but it's one that you're having because all 4 teams are terrible. And then even you go to the Washington football team and want to talk about quarterbacks, and all of a sudden Ron Rivera says, Alex Smith is back. He's back. Okay, he's back for this year. If you think Alex Smith is back for the foreseeable future, you're not going to be a good franchise moving forward. But everyone is in the conversation because they're all so bad.
Yeah, well, Alex Smith is back for this year. Look, Alex Smith threw for 390 yards the other day. Alex Smith led a drive, a limping drive, but a drive that looked like it was going to put the game in overtime until his knucklehead rookie roughed the passer and put Matt Prater in field goal range. Yeah, they're all in that. Like, don't you think in Giants camp, in Washington camp, they're all kind of going, we can win this division. The Eagles stink, and you look at them, go, oh, they got to be better. They got Carson Wentz. Well, I mean, Carson Wentz. They've gone to a Super Bowl. I mean, they got. Really? Did you watch them the other day? Did you watch the Giants run them out of the built? They're horrible. And so even in Cowboys camp, I'm going to guess they're coming off a bye. Mike McCarthy said yesterday they had a little extra bounce in their step, potentially because of watching what happened in their division. I don't even know what that means with an extra bounce in their step when you're 2-7. Bottom line is, I can't. Now, I think they're going to be better with Andy Dalton back, but I can't. Because their defense is so bad. And I would tell you, I think the worst defense in the NFL this year, yes, worse than Seattle.
That's fair. I just can't believe in Andy Dalton anymore because I saw him play against Washington. Garrett Gilbert made that team look better than Andy Dalton has.
He did.
So far. The division is so bad. Nothing you said is wrong. Nothing you said is crazy because it just takes 1-2 wins and you're feeling completely different about yourself. And absolutely, the New York Giants are sitting there now going, you know what, maybe we got some. This Daniel Jones kid doesn't turn over the football. I kind of like that offense and the skill players that they have. And it's one where defensively it just takes a game. Like one good game to get you back on track. And speaking of Doug Peterson in Philadelphia, that is a dude that is in Nick Foles' territory now in terms of how much longer are you living off that Super Bowl win? Because guess what? Frank Reich was the offensive coordinator of that Super Bowl team. Frank Reich is now the head coach of Indianapolis. How are these teams looking?
Yeah. I can't disagree with you. I absolutely am on that 100%. All right, 505-246-0610. That's how to get in today. Emails, and I'll get to some of those that I didn't get to yesterday. Jeff at 610knml.com, JJ at 610knml.com. JJ's a great follow on the Twitter. Follow him at _JJ Bucket on the Facebook. Our page is the OD in the AM. You can watch the show there, courtesy of our good friends over at ProView Networks. Alden and J-Pull are running the show for you today. We got a lot of NBA stuff that we've got to get into. Big trades, some stuff I don't understand, and we're talking about the Lakers. We're talking about the Bucks. We're talking a lot of the teams at the top making a lot of moves, and we're going to get into that because the draft is next week. Trade season is here. You know what else is here? Winter, or at least cold weather is. That means harsh weather's coming. Not kind to your vehicle. Give your paint job the protection that it requires. Get yourself a visit from On the Spot Auto Detailing. On the Spot Auto Detailing comes to you and applies by hand a wax that will protect your clear coat from hard water stains, sun damage, all of the elements, and it's exponentially better than that spray-on wax that you get at those drive-through car washes. And I did say a visit from On the Spot Auto Detailing because they come to you at your home, at your office, wherever, whenever it is convenient for you. I was in the office, I was working, forgot that they were there, went outside when I got the text and my vehicle was detailed, inside and outside, like the day I took it off the lot. Call On the Spot Auto Detail. This is a great gift, by the way. If you're looking for the gift for the person who's got everything, this one's great. 505-859-2859. That's 505-859-2859. Or visit them at otsdetailing.com.
Clark's Pet Emporium is committed to...
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rawlings, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili, breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's gonna walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. 1st and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly, Cardinals fly. To the other side, provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out! See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. An 8. 2 receivers at the top. Harris has all day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man. Touchdown. Wildcat. Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Big names, big trades of the National Basketball Association. Draft is next week. Chris Paul to the Suns for Kelly Oubre and Ricky Rubio and first-round pick and a bunch of other guys. The Lakers getting Dennis Schroeder for Danny Green and their top pick. So, JJ, the one I'm struggling with, and I'm not sure I totally understand, is the haul that Milwaukee is going to send to New Orleans for Drew Holiday. Is Drew Holiday, all that, because we're looking at Eric Bledsoe and George Hill. I'm reading 3 first-round picks. Is he all that, and B, is that going to be enough to keep Giannis?
A, yes. B, to be determined, but that is why Milwaukee is swinging for the fences. If they keep Giannis, those are late first-round picks. And so we get caught up far too many times, especially in basketball, on first-round picks. If you're a good basketball team, it doesn't matter. That's a late first-round pick. And if Giannis happens to leave, then you can start reacquiring draft assets by moving on from someone like Chris Middleton. So there's always a way out of not having draft picks. And in this stance, you're looking at Drew Holiday, which is just as good, if not a better defender at this point in time than Eric Bledsoe, and he's a more explosive offensive player. So he is like the deluxe version of Eric Bledsoe, and I like the moves because he's a better overall basketball player. Bogdan Bogdanovic coming over, the potential sign and trade for Sacramento. Dante DiVincenzo's a fun player, but right now Bogdan is more stable, and you can count on him at a higher level than you can DiVincenzo, and especially a team that they need to be in the NBA Finals next year. When you have an MVP, Giannis, someone that's still very good at basketball. This is all about not just making the Eastern Conference Finals, getting to that point. It's NBA Finals, and so that's where they're swinging for the fences. I have no problem with acquiring Jrue Holiday for late first-round picks, and the other moves make a ton of sense right now.
Yeah, I liked the Bogdanovich move. I think that totally makes sense. I just Holiday, boy, you're giving up a lot, and so if you don't keep Giannis, those are pretty high picks. And to your point, I guess they've got to swing at the fences now, because if it's not this year, when, right? I think everybody's looking at Brooklyn, and so is, by the way, James Harden. Miami's going to get better. Boston, you think, is going to be there, and Philly's still in the mix. All right, James Harden wants to go to Brooklyn. To me, and work with me on this. You watch more NBA than me. Ball stops at James Harden. James Harden holds the ball for 20 seconds and then shoots. You've got a team with Kyrie Irving, who needs the ball in his hand. Kevin Durant, who's going to have the ball in his hand. How does James Harden have the ball in his hand? I get it, the enamor of having these three there, and telling me how great the big three are. But I'm not sure that big three works like some of these other big threes that we've seen. When you want to tell me Steph and Clay and KD, or Anthony Davis and LeBron even, that's 2 equals 3. I get the enamor. I just don't know that I think it works there. Do you?
Not with Kyrie Irving there. If it was a situation that Kyrie wasn't there and you're looking for a running mate with Kevin Durant, absolutely, that would be amazing. Because the thing is, what else was James Harden supposed to do in Houston? The whole team was built around him. So, of course, everything was going to flow through him. Up until last year, you saw Russell Westbrook. Even with Chris Paul, it still was going to be a ball-dominant James Harden. I'm not sure it works with Kyrie Irving, because Kyrie is different. We know Kyrie has had issues playing with fellow superstars in the past, mainly LeBron James, and they won an NBA championship, and he still didn't want to be a part of that squad. So while James Harden wants to go back and maybe reignite the old OKC days when it was young KD, Russ, and James that went to the NBA Finals, and we thought that was the team that was going to take over the league, and then it all just went south when they decided to pay Serge Ibaka and then trade James Harden. I just don't see how it works because of Kyrie. I think Kyrie and KD can work. Kyrie, KD, and James, not so much.
And how does the trade work? Like, how would it even work out? What would Houston feel like they're getting in return that it would make sense for them to do this, other than getting, freeing up all that salary, getting rid of a disgruntled guy, and getting equity? What has he got? He's got 2 years and $103 million remaining on his deal. So, how does it even work? How would it make sense for Houston?
Well, we know when you trade a star level player, you never get the same value in return. You just
gotta get some value.
There's a lottery pick involved that can be high, which is difficult in this situation because Brooklyn's going to win a lot of games over the next couple of years if those guys stay healthy. There's not anyone I look at the Nets roster and say, oh, those would be intriguing pieces like we saw, at least, for New Orleans getting Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball in return for Anthony Davis. So the trade essentially from Houston's perspective is the understanding that they're blowing it up. They just traded Robert Covington yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, James Harden turned down $50 million per year. Like, Houston's run is done.
So silly. 50. Can you imagine being in a position to turn down? And I'm good. You want to pay me $50 million a year? No. I'm good. I'm gonna get something better somewhere else. Can you imagine being in that position? By the way, the other piece that we didn't talk about, what about what Oklahoma City did? We're getting Bledsoe and George Hill and the first round picks to go run alongside what they're building down there with maybe the best young player in the league, with Lonzo Ball, with Brandon Ingram, who got a lot better. New Orleans seems like they're quietly building something that should be pretty nice.
Yeah, it's a good move for New Orleans, given the fact that Jrue Holiday has a player option after this season, so he's already someone that was probably looking at what is next for him. Eric Bledsoe is a solid player. Like that backcourt, Bledsoe, Ball is good. The key to all this is Brandon Ingram, because now he is the most explosive player, and the offense is going to run through him and then Zion. So if Brandon Ingram can continue to play up to the level we saw last year, even take a step further and become the main offensive threat. Yeah, New Orleans should be contending for the postseason in a Western Conference. That is all of a sudden kind of back to that level of, man, there's a lot of good teams. Because one trade I know we'll get to is, while a lot of people don't think he's any good anymore because he's been there, done that, what Phoenix did acquiring Chris Paul was huge, because guess what? Yeah, he's got 2 years and still $85 million left, but this is a team that has a top-tier scorer in Devin Booker, that has a fantastic presence inside in DeAndre Ayton. And guess what? Chris Paul had the second highest effective field goal percentage of his career last year. If he plays in that 35-minute per game range when you get to the end of the season, you still get a guy that can create, slow down the game, stabilize an offense, be a pesky defender. I love that move for Phoenix, given the fact they're locked in on their young superstars. Got a guy that can still get it done at a high level in the postseason. And now, Phoenix is right there, probably even just a step ahead of New Orleans in the West, that is just getting deeper and deeper.
I remember Phoenix was the team that was undefeated in the bubble. They went 8-0, and it came down to the tiebreaker for them to not make the playoffs. So they were right there. Lakers, Dennis Schroeder, they gave up Danny Green and their first-round pick, which is number 28. I think Lakers got better, too.
That was a great trade. Like, these moves over the last few days have been so good. Because do you realize that Schroeder immediately becomes the best guard on that Lakers team? A team that just won the NBA Finals, and they get the best guard that they now have for a late first-round pick, and Danny Green, who just doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah, I don't
great move for them.
Yeah, that was stealing. I thought that was stealing, too. All right, 505-246-0610. You can get in on any NBA stuff. What are your thoughts on the NFL? Favorites now in the NFC South. Who do you like? Bears or Vikings? Better pick to make the playoffs. I think it's the Vikings, even though they're a game behind, and it was the Bears who started out so hot. 505-246-0610. When we come back, we'll get into Lobos and Air Force. Who's the quarterback this Friday night as the Lobos go on to take out the triple option Air Force Falcons? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Second field goal, he's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a 3 for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, 20!
Well, he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, little kick.
They leave it one more time to Hammer.
Look at this, they're not going to score again. Look at this.
Up top! Yes, and the finish for Akbayosi. Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack to Davina Lovato. Up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in. He got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake, double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
To the right, single receiver split to the left. Play fake, head up the middle, it's got some room. 50, 45, 40, has one man to beat. 30, 25, 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Hope.
Wow.
On a
Option again, he'll keep it. Now he'll pitch it. Comes out to the 30, 25, 20, up the sideline. Still inbounds into the end zone. Let's see.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Portel.
The outside of running an out route.
Davis into the play action, looking. He's going to go back to Lewis, and Lewis makes a cut, and Lewis still on his feet. Dorian Lewis is in for a touchdown.
This makes total sense for what I saw last night. Tyler Bray. You're saying, who is Tyler Bray? Tyler Bray is the quarterback who came in yesterday in that situation where the Bears were trying to get down the field with no time left on the clock, or little time left on the clock, no timeouts, when Nick Foles got carted off. Tyler Bray, remember him? Do you know where he played college football, by the way?
Pittsburgh?
Tennessee.
Okay.
And somebody posted a memory of Tyler Bray, who was accused on a Wednesday morning of throwing beer bottles from his balcony and golf balls from his balcony at parked cars, according to the Knoxville News. From what I saw last night, I'm going to guess he probably didn't hit any of those parked cars. But that does that help you explain a little bit of what you watched last night? That's your quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Tyler Bray, everybody.
QB3. Usually not good.
Yeah. Nope. Very, very rarely good. Lobos were on QB2 Saturday past. They may be again their second string quarterback when they lost 27-20 at home in Las Vegas. Yeah, that's right. To Nevada. Next up, they'll be in Colorado Springs. So I think the biggest piece of news is that Air Force has been cleared to play this weekend. And they've been really, really hit with COVID. Last 2 weeks, Falcons have not played. This is a gettable game. Probably, JJ, I think the most gettable game that they've had. And you say, come on, they played San Jose State. San Jose State's 4-0. San Jose State beat San Diego State. This is a game against a team that, now, rested, but rusty, I don't know. I think the biggest issue for the Lobos is who's going to be quarterback. I'm going to guess, like every game over the last X number of years, we go into it and say, well, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw both of them. If Tavaka's healthy, Danny told us yesterday that Tavaka will play. Tavaka has not been cleared yet from concussion protocol. You have one less day in this week because they play on Friday. Gut tells you Trey Hall?
Gut tells me if Tavaka's cleared, he's a quarterback. Like this is one where I feel so much better about this quarterback situation than I do in past years. because Tavaka's a starter, Troy Hall's a backup, and I think both can be effective in this offense. And both are not going to play at the same time. So I guess that's something that's a positive, that this team has settled on one quarterback and has a belief in either guy to run the entire system. So the Tavaka situation, I think it's when he's cleared. Now, if he's cleared late, even if he gets cleared Wednesday or Thursday, I think then you're looking at him in a backup situation with Trey Hall just getting all the reps this week. So I think it would probably be today you'd want Tavaka cleared if he's able to get back on the practice field.
Yeah, no, it's got to be today with a short week. I mean, they'll go today and tomorrow, and then they'll go light on Thursday. I feel better after watching Trey Hall on Saturday. I did not have the faith in Trey Hall. I didn't. I guess I didn't really see anything last year that made me feel good about it. But then again, I didn't feel that way about Tavaka either, right? So as we go through this, I feel better about what I saw from both of these quarterbacks, to be honest with you. I think the key is going to be defensively. Now, this is going to be interesting. JJ, the Lobos' defensive issues have been getting beat over the top. How do they handle the triple option? Rocky has said over the years, and I remember when he was here, Danny alluded to it the other day. On the chalkboard, Danny told us yesterday, Danny Gonzalez, head football coach. By the way, you're listening to The Opening Drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, Jeff, JJ, Micah, Alden, and J-Pole. Danny told us that when you draw it on the chalkboard, they can't be beat. And Rocky used to tell us all the time, when you draw it up, it's unstoppable because they've got an answer for everything you do defensively. Now, obviously, when you play, it's not drawn up on a chalkboard. It's players making decisions and making plays, and that tackle's got to be able to beat the defensive end and everything. But this is going to be interesting because it's a different look than they've seen over the last 3 weeks, quarterbacks who are taking the top off.
Yes, and I feel better about the Lobos going into this game because of the way they've played defensively. The physicality matters against Air Force because this game is going to be won at the line of scrimmage. Danny even went into it a little bit more in the afternoon when he was doing his Zoom press conference. Like he said that this is the week he hates the most, but also enjoys the challenge going against Air Force because if you show them the same look twice, they're going to shred you. So, Rocky and Danny have been there, done that plenty of times against this Air Force offense that doesn't change, but yet it is so effective. And I feel better overall. To go back to your point, this is absolutely a gettable game because the Falcons just aren't that team they were last year. The quarterback is not as good. Hammond was fantastic. He fell out of favor. He's no longer with the academy. They've had some issues defensively, have the Falcons, with how many turnbacks that they've had. A lot of players that they were expecting to play this fall not happening defensively. So this is still a game where they're going to make their plays. The option, to your point, is going to find ways to open it up. But I feel a lot better about where this team is at on both sides of the football. The Lobos going to Colorado Springs.
One of the things that I like about it is and you mentioned the physicality. I think this is just watching them over 3 days or 3 games, a much more physical football team than they were last year. And I think that's what you've got to be able to beat Air Force. And if you can match them up front, you've got a chance. And I think New Mexico, if there's a strength on their defense, to me, it's been up front. The other thing is, Danny and Rocky talk about flying to the ball, running the ball. You can hear their defensive players talk about it. I thought last week against Nevada,
2 minutes,
I sensed them getting the ball defensively, getting to the ball, doing what they're coached to do a lot more than maybe in the past 2. Did you?
Yeah, I did. When it came to rallying to the football, stopping the run, the way they were playing, Danny brought it up yesterday, like they should have been beat running. Like they were kind of just setting up in this giant shell, saying we're going to keep everything in front of us. Nevada couldn't even run the football in that situation. and they struggle to find consistency. Yeah, they hit some big plays down the field, but the Lobos got them off the football field a few times, and that's going to be entirely different, where the few plays downfield can still hurt you against this Air Force team if you're not sticking to your assignments, especially in the secondary. And kind of talking about that Lobo position, because that's the last line of defense. If one of those guys starts creeping up, and then Air Force takes the top off a couple plays, it's going to be a long day for Lobos defensively. But physicality, getting to the ball carrier, whether it's hitting the fullback, hitting the pitch man, the Lobos have to do on Friday night.
All right, Lobo football, take your thoughts. This is one of those. Now, at what point do you kind of feel like they've got to get one? Is this that point? 505-246-0680. You got Utah State coming up after that. They're limping. They fired their coach and their quarterback. Where do you get it? I want to talk college basketball when we get back as well. Season's supposed to start next week. You haven't even seen a schedule yet. Big news yesterday on the NCAA tournament. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Micah Alden, J. Paul. Glad you're with us at 95.9 FM and AM 610. These sports.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
It's his second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a 3 for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, 20!
Well, he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, a little kick.
They leave it one more time. Two-hand hammer. Up top. Yes, and the finish for Akbayosi. Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack to Davina Lovato. Up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Another big quarterback injury in the National Football League yesterday. What will that mean for a team that is looking to make the playoffs? That's Nick Foles and the Chicago Bears. They get beat last night 19-13. Is it a big quarterback injury, though? Is it? Will they upgrade if they go back to Mitchell Trubisky? Drew Brees, punctured lung. cracked ribs. He's out weeks. What's that going to mean for the New Orleans Saints? We've been talking about who do you think is the favorite in the NFC South. Does that now make Tommy and Tampa the favorites? Opening drive, Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Micah, J. Pull, and Alden. You can watch us on the Facebook, the OD, and the AM. That's ProView Networks' broadcast there. And, of course, be part of the show this morning. 505-246-0610. Or 888-922-0610. Emails jeff@610knml.com, jj@610knml.com. All right, JJ, the NCAA tournament is going to bubble, it looks like. So the season starts theoretically next what day is today? Tuesday, so next Wednesday. I have not seen a whole lot of schedules. I'm looking like am I going to do you watch games? Are there games that you're going to sit around and watch next the 25th when they go? There are. I've got a full slate of games. I mean, Oregon's going to play Eastern Washington. Wisconsin's going to play Eastern Illinois. Green Bay's going to play Minnesota. Rutgers is going to play Sacred Heart. I mean, there's games on here. You haven't seen a Lobo schedule yet. Haven't seen an Aggie schedule yet, have you?
Haven't. Non-conference is going to be a problem for college basketball. Conference play, they seem to have an idea of how that's going to work. They seem to believe that the home and home type of thing, where it's you'll play 2 games versus an opponent, whether it's a Friday-Saturday split, a Thursday-Saturday split, mostly in the Mountain West, WAC, is going to work for those conferences, everyone being on the same page. I have no idea what non-conference basketball is going to look like. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be even. There's might be teams that don't even play a non-conference schedule this year.
Yeah, and it's going to be really uneven. Now, here's what I've got for you, I think, for college basketball in the Mountain West. Starting next Wednesday, you get a marquee. You get 2 kind of marquee games right off the top, actually. San Diego State's getting UCLA at home. 22nd ranked UCLA is scheduled to be in VA House against San Diego State next Wednesday. Wichita State is scheduled to play Utah State in Sioux Falls, South Dakota next week. So you've got a couple of games on the schedule with teams. Fresno State will play at home in the Save Mart Center against some guy named William Jessup. You even know what that is?
Isn't he the shooter for Boise State?
He might be, man. He might be. Speaking of Boise State, they're scheduled to play 17th ranked Houston next Friday in Houston. Fresno State will have another game. They'll play Pacific next Friday. Wyoming's going to play Mississippi Valley State in Laramie next Saturday. That's what they're scheduled to do. Again, this is all scheduled. But my point is, you've got UNLV playing North Carolina in Asheville on Monday the 30th. Fresno State, Nevada's going to play Pacific. So, I mean, you've got almost everybody in there. I mean, who have I not mentioned in your league yet? Boise State? I guess I said Boise State. I haven't seen a Colorado State game anywhere. Going through next week. Wyoming's going to get Incarnate Word again. So it looks to me like Colorado State, Air Force, and New Mexico have not scheduled. UNLV is going to play Kansas State. BYU is going to play Utah State. I see an Air Force game now. They play Lamar on the 5th of December. So all I don't see, there's a San Jose State game. New Mexico and Colorado State right now, JJ, and we're days away. Your point's right on. For this team, for New Mexico and New Mexico State especially, where are they playing, how they playing, what are they playing? Because I think what's real, are they playing patty cake or are they playing basketball, honestly?
Yeah.
We got real issues.
Yeah, and it's to the point of are they going to be able to find a place that makes sense for them to live, train, play? Or are they going to have to go somewhere but then travel out to play our other games? You know, we're seeing with some of the games that you ran down, they were quickly put together over the summer because we saw a lot of the MTEs canceled, so they tried to find bubble sites, and everyone was like, "Oh, let's go to the Dakotas," and then you realize, well, that's still not great either because it's absolutely everywhere. So tons of question marks. It's going to be incredibly difficult to get to conference season. Once you get to conference season, I think there's a sense of there will be a little little sigh of relief, but then you still are looking forward to going, how are we going to pick 68 teams? How are we going to decide who's any good to play in the NCAA tournament?
So in the WAC, it looks like most of the teams in the WAC are moving forward. This is on the 25th, the first day, next Wednesday. UTRGV is going to play Texas. Good luck. Chicago State's playing IUPUI. Cal Baptist will be at SC. Seattle's got Idaho. Utah Valley State will be at Stanford. Grand Canyon will play Grambling at home. So they're moving forward. Seattle will play Cal Poly on Friday. Saturday, full slate. Chicago State's at DePaul. Utah Valley at BYU. Seattle at Portland. UTRGV at UTSA. And Dixie State's at Weber State. So I guess I'm missing. Well, UMKC is not in the league anymore, right? Cal Baptist will play Florida A&M. Yeah, and so did Bakersfield, correct? So it looks like just about everybody. Maybe I missed somebody in there. But Tarleton's playing at Texas A&M. How good luck with that. Who's Tarleton's coach? Isn't it Gillespie? So they're going to go back and play his old place at A&M and UTRGV. So they're scheduled. Everybody but New Mexico State seems to be scheduled in that league too. This is, JJ, how far does it put them behind? You started talking about the NCAA tournament, which I want to get to because it's going to be all bubbled. If everybody's putting together a resume, San Diego State's playing UCLA and Utah State's playing BYU and right, all those games I just told you about. You're putting yourself really far behind. If you're going to rely on just winning your league or winning that conference tournament, you're not going to the NCAA tournament, I don't think.
The Lobos are not going to be a bubble team this year. Their chance is they have to win the conference. I think even in a normal season, they would struggle to have a wow resume unless they did something crazy like only lose 3 or 4 games. But yes, you're going to just be really pigeonholed into winning the conference tournament.
All right. The NCAA is talking about bubbling everybody in Indianapolis, playing all the games. They got a bunch of universities there to play in. I think it's the right idea. Bubbles seem to work. And when you're talking about 68 different teams coming from all over the country, limiting the travel, limiting exposure, and getting a 4-month run at this thing, 5-month run at this thing, to have a plan to make sure that you play this tournament because they have got to play this year. Like the amount of money that everybody lost last year, I don't know that they can. I think it puts you at the breaking point for a lot of universities' athletic programs if, in fact, they lose that revenue for a second year in a row. So I think I like the way they're doing this and getting aggressive and going out and making something happen and having a plan. Indianapolis seems to be the right spot. You've got a bunch of universities around there, plus you've got the big arenas. This feels like the right call to me.
I agree. It's something that has to be done this season, going into early next year to try to get it done as safely as possible. And I think the biggest thing is limiting travel. The guys bouncing around the country, put it all in one spot. All right, you lose, pack your bags, boom, see you later. Makes a ton of sense and hopefully works out.
Syracuse coach Jim Boeheim, by the way, did you see that? He tested positive. He's 76 years old, and he's in the protocols. So he's tested positive. By all reports, he seems to be okay. But that's going on. So Indianapolis feels right to me. This is the right way to do it. The season's going to be so wacky. Games that are going to be called. You're watching football happen, weekly. Daily, you're hearing about games. Marshall's game. We talked to Doc Holliday yesterday, and their game against Charlotte this weekend got canceled yesterday. There's a team that's ranked 15th in the country and trying to make a run at something big. The basketball is going to be tough, and I just don't think we've talked a lot in this community about it. Rudy called last week and said, you start messing with my basketball in this state, and now you got an issue. We'll see. But I firmly believe, JJ, next Wednesday, when you start watching college basketball on your television, and you go, wait a minute, I don't even have a Lobo schedule yet? Are the Aggies playing? When's the New Mexico State game? That's when it's really going to get hit home and people are going to start losing it a little bit.
Absolutely. When it gets to that point, it's, there's been so much going on. this year so much that the buildup has not been the same for anything. But when it gets to that time and you're flipping around and you're like, wait, there's college basketball on? It's college basketball season? Oh, let's check out the Lobos. Where are the Aggies?
Oh.
And they're nowhere to be found. You got people's attention.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly right. And by the way, when everybody else in your league's playing, oh, there's Steve Alford. He's playing whoever I just told you they're playing. San Diego State's playing UCLA on Wednesday. What? Utah State's playing Wichita State, and we can't practice? That's when I think another dose of reality hits you square in the face. 505-246-0610. Lobo basketball fan, where are you? I mean, here we go now. Aggie basketball fan, season starts next Wednesday. We don't have a schedule because we don't know what these two teams are going to be able to do. Last we heard, Lobos had shut down for a while. They couldn't even go over to Torrance County to practice because that county turned red. They're looking to go to California or Colorado. Aggies are looking at Arizona or Vegas. Are you going to see them this year? I think you are. But will you see them before league play? And that's really what it comes down to. 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
I'm not your grandma. I don't knit sweaters.
19 seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
To the right, single receiver split to the left. Play fake, head up the middle, got some room. 50, 45, 40, has one man to beat. 30, 25, 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Hope.
Wow.
On a
option again, he'll keep it. Now he'll pitch it. Comes out to the 30, 25, 20, up the sideline. Still inbounds into the end zone. Let's see.
Touchdown.
Touchdown. Portell.
The outside of running an out route.
Davison in the play action, looking. He's going to go back to Lewis, and Lewis makes a cut, and Lewis still on his feet. Dorian Lewis is in for a touchdown.
Back to toss, and he's got all day. It's one miss, and he's rolling. He's got a guy. Can he get it there? Davison to Luke Weissong.
Hey, we told you he
touchdown.
could spin that football, and that was a throw right there. I know he's got the wind at his back, but
Lovato driving. They're going to count it. Guy goes. Ooh, a little spin and a finish. Natalia Chavez, good spin. Takes it.
Ramos. Nice jump stop to the
Thursday. Hill, little step, high window, and got the second. To the middle. Here we go, 3.9. It's Cooper's going to run with it. Cooper's going to swing it out to Lowry. Lowry, Portillo couldn't get it off, and Clovis goes in. It's waved off. He did not get it off in time. Portillo. Reverse layup. Gallegos spins. Window finishes.
There's a run coming from
lazy pass. Here comes Crawford. It might be showtime. Shoot. They'll get one off, and it'll count high off the window.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
There's a long three.
Boom.
Bang. Martinez will beat the buzzer. Got it to go. His
Fork driving kick. Three's in the air. It's good.
Pass on the nice block by Hernandez Crawford.
And Brown in the transition. But why not, Steve? Is Corbalon's going to go and he puts it away. And Corbalon wants to put it down. Here comes Mascucci's Brown. You can't leave him alone. Put it down.
Gershon in transition. 3-on-2. Gershon going to go all the way. Whoa, Morgan.
Next Wednesday, college basketball season begins. Next Wednesday, you get games all over the country. Next Wednesday, nothing slated here in New Mexico for New Mexico State or the University of New Mexico. Not next Thursday, not next Friday. When does the league season start, JJ? Have you seen a league? I've seen the concept on it. Have we seen a concrete league schedule yet?
Let me check on that.
Because I don't think we have. All right, here's how to get in. 246-0610 or 888-922-0610. Your emails come in, Jeff at 610knml.com, JJ at 610knml.com. Let me get you a few emails. This is from Rod. It said, Jeff, after that press conference last Friday, if I'm a local athlete or a team, I'm scrambling to find an out-of-state opportunity for 2021. If you're a high school athlete, if you are the Dividers, the Albuquerque baseball team, you can't wait until the day before your season is supposed to start and still be waiting to see what the rules are going to be 2 weeks at a time. It's from Rod. Basically, he's saying Isotopes need to think about where they're going to play next year. He's saying United needs to think about where they're going to play next year. He's saying, if you're a high school football player, what makes you think you're playing next August in this state? JJ, United starts what, in March, correct?
Their season is going to be pushed back.
All right, they are. I mean, if they can play at home, then Isotopes can play at home. But I think there's a real chance both of those seasons start without fans, right? And I think there's a real chance neither one of them are able to play in April. It's just me. I mean, that's 5 months from now, but what makes you think 5 months from now We're going to be going to the what was it, Rio Grande Credit Union Field at Isotopes Park. Is that right? Did I get that right? What makes you think that we're going to be able to go there and watch games?
I don't have an answer for that right now.
Yeah. All right, Brant said, I don't get it, Jeffers. Why do I see folks walking out of the stores this weekend with a can of corn, 50 rolls of toilet paper, and 10 cases of bottled water? For the life of me, I don't know. If you're that person, by the way, can you call and let us know? If you're apocalypse shopper, and Addie talks about that, like her friends say, hey, you want to go apocalypse shopping? If you're that guy, I got a can of corn and 10 cases of water and as many rolls of toilet paper as I can stuff in my cart. The stores are open next week, man. The stores are. You can get water next week. You can get toilet paper next week. You can probably get it today. Like, help me with that concept, because I don't get it. Lars says, I think global football will win Hefe next week when they play a recently New Mexico Bowl-cursed Utah State squad. They can beat Utah State, don't you think?
Yes. They have opportunity over the next 2 weeks. I haven't felt this way in a while for global football going into a game, especially against Air Force.
Yeah. All right, league schedule. I know you're digging for it. League schedule will be out this week with dates and times. I got a text that says United will be fine. She will let them play. Yes, she will. So don't worry about United. That was what she will let them play.
Well, you still have to worry about United. I know you don't like them, but they're still a franchise that, much like the Isotopes, probably not going to handle another season without fans very well, and that's a huge issue.
It's not fair to say I don't like them.
Not you, but people out there.
Oh, okay. All right, Lobo Hobo says, boy, you know what, Jeffy? I just realized why unemployment's up. These games don't have little hot sideline reporterettes this season. That's why unemployment's up. No sideline reporters, JJ. That's why. It makes sense now. Ron says 2 weeks. If this shutdown doesn't have an impact, which it won't, anyone who thinks the governor will finally admit lockdowns don't work and commit to reopening businesses ASAP probably also believes JJ's Pumpkins are going to go undefeated and make the tournament. Okay. Look. I don't know why anybody thinks we're going to go down in 2 weeks to a point where you're okay to go. All right, but that's where you are with basketball, boys and girls. The league schedule is going to come out this week. I don't know when the Lobo basketball schedule is going to come out, if at all. Like, can you just get with New Mexico State and say, hey, we'll play you 5 times twice in Phoenix and twice wherever we're at, or twice where you are, twice where we are, and can you play them 4 times? I don't know. I mean, is it better than nothing?
It's better than nothing. And I think, well, first and foremost, you need to realize, all right, where are these two teams going to be? And it's a much different conversation than football. Because football, you're thinking 2 weeks into December, you're coming back. That's not the case. You're going to be, the entirety of December, January, and February, somewhere at this point in time with New Mexico State, New Mexico. Those are huge decisions to make, let alone, hey, are we going to have a schedule? It's where does it make sense to be? How are they going to afford that, especially down in Las Cruces right now? I don't know when you can have an answer to those questions. Obviously, you want them now. The season starts next week, right? But
you're in a place right now, to your point, JJ, you've got to be looking at the long haul. You want to believe that at some point the cases are going to come down and you're going to be allowed to do what everybody else is allowed to do. I don't know that you are. And my perspective has changed so much. When we sat here this summer, I said to you, there's no way if the Mountain West plays that the Lobos aren't going to be allowed to play. There's no way if the WAC plays that the Aggies aren't going to be allowed to play, right? And I think you believe that, and we all believe that. If everybody else is able to somehow have a season, well, then we're going to be able to figure it out around here. Well, that's not the case. I did not foresee our state being the only state in the union where you will not permit your schools to practice or travel or play. There's no way I fathomed that, but that's the world in which we live. So what makes you think, and there's nothing for me, that by, pick your date, man. I mean, it's certainly not by December. I don't know why you would think January. February, maybe? I mean, the vaccine, Moderna came out with theirs, and you've got Pfizer, so you've got 2 vaccines now that have been tested to be 90 to 94% effective. Okay, but what distribution? Is that what we're waiting for? You look at the summer, man. So your point is right. Where and how are you able to house these guys November, December, January, February? It's 4 full months, and then go into March and go wherever your conference tournament is. So you're essentially looking at 4.5 straight months on the road. How do you afford it? How do you pull it off logistically? Obviously, school is online. So, and again, I'm going to go back to this, and the people who are telling me, you can't do this, I'm going to tell you the student athlete is safer than you and I and everybody else walking the streets in that controlled environment. But yeah, you got to find the right spot. And who's got a facility to put you up for that long? What gym are you using? Where are you staying? You know, UNM, to your point, UNM football found a vacant stadium, and they were going in there. They're on the road. They knew it was up to 6 weeks. This is up to 4.5, 5 months. This is a big undertaking.
Yeah, it's an entirely different when we're talking about the entirety of a basketball season. And the thing is, I'm sure that there's plenty of places that would love to house a basketball team for that long and get that revenue. And then you even start thinking about, is there a big enough like conference room, banquet room where you could even build a court? Like we saw what happened with the NBA bubble. And when they just brought in all the practice courts and then they built them, and I don't even know what building it was, but there's enough space to put a basketball court and put shots up. Like you start thinking along all those lines to play a college basketball season.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think the Aggies have been in touch with the Orleans to play there. Is that arena available to them? I guess there's no other acts and things that are booked in there. Typically, you've got concerts and all other stuff in there. And now, can you afford it? You know, is it worth it just going to a junior college or a high school gym? Right? Pick a town. You know, if you go to California, if you go to Arizona, at least you've got a bunch of teams that you can play. Like for instance, and you're still scheduling. And I don't know if Long Beach State or Cal Poly or Bakersfield or UC Riverside or Cal State Northridge isn't playing. Right? I don't know if they're still playing. But if you go to Southern California and find I mean, hell, why not a high school gym at this point? Right? What's the difference? Can you play people? And I know that's what they're going through. 505-246-0610. How would you solve this puzzle? How would you do it? The answer is not don't play. That's not the answer, because they're going to play. So is it bubble up in Colorado? What would you do? Because the Aggies and Lobos are both, I think, this week going to announce what it is they're going to do. And time is ticking and ticking and ticking. Ticking so fast that the holidays are coming. Thanksgiving is next month, gentlemen. I know you're thinking about how you're going to take care of everyone who's on your list, everyone who's in your life. Don't forget to take care of yourself. You can't take care of anyone else unless you take care of you first. And if you're not feeling right, if you're dealing with fatigue, low T, erectile dysfunction, call NuMale and take care of it. In a year when everything is seemingly out of your control, there's something that you can absolutely control. NuMale right here in Albuquerque can help you deal with ED, depression, even hair loss. You just got to make the call. 505-652-1688. That's 505-652-1688, or visit NuMale, NuMale.com. It's not going to take care of itself. You can't ignore it away. Bottom line is, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Men reach a certain age, and these things are normal. The beauty of NuMale is you can battle normal. You can feel better. NuMale's number is 505-652-1688. Enjoy the holiday season and give yourself the Gift of feeling great. New Mail, 505-652-1688 or newmail.com and feel better.
Ramos wants another.
Opportunity here. Martinez shoots, he scores. Cut into it. Had some nice looks at the rim. Win. Inside. They're not going to miss this one. Two-hand hammer from Murillo. Ball's played up. Rodriguez with it. Gonna settle. Looks to the inside. Comes to the far side push. Shot on in. Goal. Deflected in. No.
Dorian's gonna go all the way. It was blocked by the rim. Get it out, says Kobe Wade. Ramos got it. Look out. Ramos, can he chase it down? It was a freebie. Saved it. And then stolen. And somehow Hasbury's got it back. Handoff. Watson.
Get it stripped. Galeon stripped him. Come Highland the other way. Win up top to the big goal. Here he comes.
For the lead. Got it. What a great game plan. Look at this.
Agbayosi throws it down.
Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Ericsson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
Hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovic.
That replay.
I got you.
Measurement. I mean,
Smith's got a fire in first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
Run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. And looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
Throw it. Looking. Here comes the rush. Stepping up. Pavia now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up as wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Jimmy Gaye. Chavez dropping. Looking. Stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho. Isaiah Chavez. Chavez set. He's going to run with it again and dives and.
Austin Smith, and to the outside, a lot of room. Look out, a foot race down the sideline. All the way on the first play from scrimmage, Chris. That's a touchdown.
Scrambling. And great hit. He bounces off outside. Got some daylight at the 20, the 10, the 5. What an incredible run.
All right, so Lobo basketball. When, if, how, where? Did I forget anything? Well, we know why. How's it going to go? Basketball starts next week. 2460610. Tella says, normally I take Air Force over Lobo football to blow Lobo football out of the built coming off of 2 weeks of rest to prepare while Gonzalez has a short week, but it's 2020, so who knows? So typically, coming off a 2-week bye, rest, COVID, he says he would take Air Force. I think you'd have taken Air Force over the Lobos any time in the last 6 years, wouldn't you? When are you taking the Lobos over Air Force? Well, how about the last 4 years? 4? Is it right? 3, 4? Right?
I might have to go back to like 14 years ago. I might have taken UNM over Air Force. I saw yesterday with Air Force was 7-point favorites, and I'm liking the Lobos right now.
Like the Lobos in 7. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tell us, is in vaccines equal Jeff in Vegas in July, ? He says, right now the vaccine companies are telling you how great their staffs are, how hard they worked in the offseason. They have changed the culture. They had a great recruiting class. But once the real games start, let's see if these vaccines live up to the hype. I have my doubts. See what he did there? It's cute. It's very cute. A JJ kick to the stones from Garcia. Jeff, when he said Lobo basketball has 0 chance for an at-large bid, it felt like a flush strike to the jewels. I'm rolling around on the floor in pain. I'm throwing up. Lobo basketball should be better than this. It's from Garcia. Should they be? They were picked 7th in your league, and if they play an abbreviated to no non-conference schedule, how are they going to build their resume? How are you even going to have a conversation? Poor Garcia. All I picture is this guy rolling around on his kitchen floor, all feedled up just because you just kicked him right there in the groin. That's what I see.
The should be is expectation based from Lobo fan. And I agree. I think this is a program that has the ability and should be consistently competing for Mountain West titles and then flirting with the bubble.
But
they are not.
How good are they? Like they're picked 7th, right? Everybody in this league has got unknowns. I mean, Utah State's got Cada back. San Diego State's got Mitchell and a few really nice pieces back. But everybody's lost a chunk. Transfer portal rips and builds every team in this league. I have no idea, JJ. I mean, I think they've got some good guard play. I know they're bigger, but I wonder how good their bigs are. So, like honestly, give Garcia hope to get himself off the damn kitchen floor while you just kicked him in the stones. Like, why should he believe in this team?
Well, the hope would be they've recruited talent.
Okay.
Now they haven't been able to put it together. I don't like last year's team coming in with Carlton Bragg, J.J. Caldwell, Van Jackson, Jaquan Lau. Like, that was fair to have higher expectations, and they were a good basketball team until it all hit the fan.
Until they were.
This year is a complete unknown because outside of, we know for sure, like, all right, you got to play McQuatch Malawatch. You're going to be relying on guards to hit the floor running right away in that backcourt. it's Byron Matos, it's Javonte Johnson, young guys with a ton of hype that the fan base is very excited to see. But it's the ultimate unknown, which they sit right there in that 5-2-7 range because we just haven't seen these guys on the floor together.
So I think I believe in Javonte Johnson because I've heard a particular coach or former coach or coaching staff member tell me how good he is, and I really, really trust him. I believe in Matos. I think Matos is going to be really good. I think Malwatch is a nice player. I think McQuatch is guy that going to be a glue guy that's going to be steady. That he's going to start for you. He's going to hit some good shots. He's going to play some. Okay. After that, I don't know what I believe in. Do I believe in Kirk Vegscheider coming back and Keith McGee? I think McGee gives you minutes. I really like the energy he brings. But tell me where I'm getting scoring from. Am I getting it from? I mean, I just don't see it. And I guess that's why you're telling me 5-7, huh? Right there in the middle of the pack.
As of now, and the biggest question is that backcourt. I'm very interested to see the type of player Saquon Singleton is. You're talking about a 6'6" point guard with what he could do defensively, attacking the rim. There's a lot of hype on Francis, and they say his shooting is really coming around, and that's going to be huge for the Lobos. Spacing for having that perimeter player that can create. Also, there's a very intriguing pieces. There's no doubt that they've been able to recruit good athletes. However, can they put it together? And this is going to be the biggest test of Paul Ware's era, given the fact that you can't even practice right now.
Yeah, that's right. If you're going to tell me Johnson, Francis, and Singleton are going to be a good backcourt, everything that you want them to be. I mean, Singleton comes over after a really big career in junior college. You get a transfer from North Carolina and Jeremiah Francis, and then if Javonte Johnson is all that they're saying that he is, put him together with Malawach and Matos. Okay, I'm listening. Okay, you got a starting five. Let's go. But where's the development going to come from? And that's, to your point, the fact that you're not able to practice, and now you're going to have, it appears to be, everybody's going to have an abbreviated non-conference schedule, but yours seems to be even more abbreviated than most. You're playing from behind the eight ball. You're going to be playing catch up and crawling uphill all season long.
Yeah, and that's the ultimate unknown. We think that there's some good pieces, but how are they going to come together, and when are they going to get a chance to come together?
All right, we're at the convergence. Lobo football and college basketball season converge next week. Now, will Lobo football and Lobo basketball converge? We'll see. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Micah, and J. Pole, and Alden on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
I'm not your grandma. I don't wear 12 layers of clothes and...
Ramos, rise and fire. He's fouled.
He used to coach for Del Norte. And
here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the... Behind the back of the dribble. Tries to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And Hotnet sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. DC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku. Oh. Working against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move.
Ball's loose. DJ Bustos brings it up. Barnes Tompkins, alley-oop. How about it? That was redunculous.
Cable to the big fella, might try to jam one home.
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what
Hill's gonna just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's gonna fire at the buzzer and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this, stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we could see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Oh! Ho, ho, ho!
Creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the three, and he buries it. Gonna be coming in soon. Double pick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window scores it as foul.
Right here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish.
What a
around the screen against White. Step back, it's blocked. JB with the block.
In transition, ahead to hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go. They've got a shot. They have a chance, and it's put up, and it's good. What a three that is by Jalen.
Hidon puts it up. Rebound Cowboys. Right side David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Domina Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Lusses. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell. Clock at 6. They get it. Barnes Tompkins fires. Yes! Pass up court. This for the win. Blocked by DJ Bustos. Cowboys win. Cowboys win. Jeremy Segura.
Giants are off this weekend. Good thing. Their kicker has tested positive for the COVID. Graham Gano isolated. It's the second Giant player to test positive. Aaron Hernandez did, or not Aaron Hernandez, Will Hernandez, different guy completely, a couple weeks ago. So if you need a kicker on your fantasy football team, you may want to go a different way. Opening drive, Jeff, JJ, and Mike. I got emails on Lobo basketball, JJ. People, this is one of those. I'm just telling you. Rudy said it the other day. When basketball hits, and it's not there, this is when you're going to feel it at another level. Don says, I'm hoping for Lobo basketball, but living in this state, THIS capitalized. I won't be shocked if we don't see it. This state ranks last in every substantive, thank you, category. Why would we expect any more or better from this state? As long as the Lobo transfer portal remains as active as it's been in the last few years, I don't expect great or even good things from this program, just being honest here. Seriously considering sending my boys up to Colorado to play some small-town high school football next fall. The kids are dying. Lobos howl. Well, you know the rest. Don. All right, a couple things in there. JJ, we've talked plenty about the transfer portal. As long as the Lobo transfer portal is as active as it is every year, do you feel that it is a benefit or a detraction to them, to their
benefit.
program? Okay. He feels it's a detraction.
Because they wouldn't even be in the conversation right now. If last year's team, it was off.
Are they in the conversation now? Are they in it now?
Potentially being better, yes. You're not winning in this league at a high level, bringing a ton of freshmen. What Steve Alford did was one in a century. That team where you got Alex Kirk and Hugh Greenwood and Kendall Williams and Tony Snell and Cameron Bairstow, that's never going to happen again. But you need the pieces. A Makwach Malawach that can be a constant. Guys that come up, Kirk Wedge-Schneider. But to do it year in and year out and then develop, it's never going to happen in the Mountain West.
All right, and so I'm gonna take Don's angle just for a moment, because I believe that the answer lies somewhere in the middle. I believe that you absolutely need the transfer portal in this league. I think every team that's won at a level. I mean, look at what San Diego State did last year, and look at the transfers. Right, Yanni Wetzel transferred in from Vanderbilt. Right. Malachi Flynn transferred in from Washington State. They had transfers all over that roster. So I think they had a transfer. The point guard was from San Francisco, right? USF, JJ.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess Don would sit here and say, "Show me how the Lobos have been better from the transfer portal over the last bunch of years. Show me what's." I mean, you say they're in the conversation. Are they? Is picked 7th in the Mountain West in the conversation?
No, and it has nothing to do with the transfer portal versus anything else. Like, you have to play both worlds. It's not one or the other. You have to be good at both. San Diego State's best players have been transfers.
Yeah, Nevada's were.
Yeah, so it's one where it's easy to point at when it's not going your way. But if you can't hit home runs in the transfer portal, and if you can't recruit, you don't win in college basketball at this level.
Therein lies another story. I mean, are you playing the transfer portal well? Are you playing it well? I mean, every time we get a recruit in here, I hear that it's been the same way for me for 25 years. Oh, this kid's the greatest thing ever. And I wait and let me see him walk down the ramp in a pair of shorts, and let's see what he plays like. And I understand what happened last year. You would have hit with Carlton Bragg and with J.J. Caldwell. 1 minute. I don't know if you would. I mean, Jaquan Lyle was a whole other story. But you would have had a pretty good team if those guys stayed active. Stayed eligible.
So the answer is yes. They have hit home runs in a transfer portal. Guess who's been one of the best players at Arkansas leading up to the season? Vance Jackson. So the question to ask is, what happened? Was he off the court stuff legit?
But I think when he says so active in the transfer portal, I think he means going as well. He's not talking about just who's coming in the door. He's talking about who's going out the door. How many guys have you lost that have gone and contributed elsewhere? That why didn't they stay here? We'll continue that conversation because I think it's a fair one. I think he's not just saying who's coming in. Why can't you keep a Vance Jackson is what he's saying. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal and ProView Networks.
I'm Kyle Montgomery on the NFL Network now.
Wrap around. Harris, the Gates, the long bomb, 3 ball. Oh, great steal by Quinteros, lays it up and scores.
A whole little jump step in the... And look out, here comes Agbayosi. Crawford set. That's blocked. Lansing says, get that out of here. Sister to sister, Marianne Lansing's going to go all the way. Turnaround. Ramos, pump fake, everyone bites. Ramos hits.
Jackson loses it. Jalen Bond back. LAU. Put it down. Dunkalicious. How about it?
Played over to Madrid, plays it across the box off the dasher. It's settled. Shot up by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Shot on and just wide. Big deflection. Goal.
With this first field goal. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Not a game you can go have 25 turnovers in and win.
Get that out of here, Watson says. Here comes Hodnett all the way. He's blocked in return. Dickey, did he get it off? He did, and he hit it. They're really... Oliveras. Wild 3, and it hit.
Another steal nearly by Hidon. It is a steal. Avalos ahead to Hidon. The two-hand hammer by Hidon. I knew he was going to put that one down.
ProView Networks tonight.
District matchup there.
Davidson took it away in transition. Might be time for a jam. Yes.
Oh!
Big Barton, watch him, coach. Watch the inbounder.
Dumas Sanchez in the corner.
Back to Barton with 2.4 seconds left. Fires for the win.
And he got it!
It's good.
Oh my God!
On the last second shot.
He did. Oh my God!
Bakes it in from 25 feet and watch the celebration right in front of us. What a shot by Barton. He was double teamed and somehow found a way to get it in. Ramos to Gaxiola, high window for the win. It's good. It counts. Gaxiola with the game winner for a Driscoll Heritage.
transfer portal works both ways. It's in and out. It's a revolving door. Some guys go in, some guys go out. Transfer portal's been good to New Mexico over the years. It brought you Elijah Brown and Tim Williams and Carlton Bragg, the good Carlton Bragg, also the other Carlton Bragg. It's also watch guys go out. That same Elijah Brown, Vance Jackson, a lot of names that are contributing elsewhere. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah, Alden, and J-Pole. We got an email that said from Don said as long as the transfer portal is as active around here, he doesn't think Level basketball can win or at least win consistently. JJ and I agree that you need to use the transfer portal. I think we disagree maybe at the amount or the way it's been used, and I think we disagree a little bit on the success that they've had. Yes, they've had success, but it goes both ways, JJ. And you look around, there's a lot of guys that it didn't work here. And I'm with you when it happens. I don't lose my mind. It's today's college basketball. You get guys, you lose guys. But I haven't seen a lot of winning around here in the last bunch of years when the transfer portal has been utilized at the degree it's been utilized.
Yeah, you have to play both worlds. I'm not acknowledging that there's not challenges with it, but that's also on the coach. And I think the personalities we saw in last year's team ended up being too much overall, because when it comes down to it, it wasn't basketball that did this team in. It was off-court issues, which then you start questioning, well, is it the transfer portal or is it the decisions of the head coach?
I think that all intertwined. So should they have been as bad as they were when Bragg and Caldwell got suspended? Because I've thought about this a lot. All right, well, where was it coming from? I just, should they have been as bad as they were for that block of time?
Yes.
Okay.
That was their point guard, like a point guard that you.
No, I get what a point guard means.
And a player that this team hasn't had in a while, like a steadying presence, playmaker on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, both ends.
Because then all of a sudden you're like, oh, Jaquan Lyle, go do your crazy thing where you take too many shots and people don't like you now all of a sudden.
Well, I think Jaquan handled it really in an interesting way, and I thought that was a detriment. All right. I'm just curious where Lobo fan is. Gone are the days, and I got a Dave Bliss email. Gone are the days where you're going to get 7 guys or a senior night where you got 5 guys who were here for 4 years. I mean, it's just, and it's not just here, man. It's everywhere. So how do you play it? And obviously, some schools are playing the transfer portal really well. San Diego State, Malachi Flynn, Yanni Wetzel. I mean, look down their roster, right? Nevada got the Martin twins. Wrote them to the Elite Eight. This league is, if you're going to win in this league, you're going to play the transfer portal well. All right, 505-246-0610 is how to get here today, 888-922-0610. You can send emails, Jeff or JJ at 610knml.com. This is an interesting one, and I'm calling absolute BS on this, James. I think this is a totally wrong, out of context email, but I'll read it anyway. He says he doesn't like Danny Gonzalez. He calls him Danny Conzalez. He's conning us all. Jeff, all Dave Bliss did here was win, but he was hated because he said this is just New Mexico. Bob Davey had a nice run, but Lobo fans didn't like him because he didn't live here, and he used to call this a unique place. Danny Gonzalez hasn't won, but apparently that doesn't matter as long as you tell everyone how great they are or are going to be. So James has passed judgment after 3 games. He had 1.
Did James have a personal grudge with Danny at some point in time, possibly?
That's what I'm going to guess. I don't know what you expected after 3 games. You're right. James, you're right. He has not won. Maybe you should fire him. It's a really good point. I mean, what's he done? He talks a lot. I mean, he's Dan Marley. He talks a lot. They haven't won a damn thing. I mean, give me a break. What they inherited here, they won 2 games last year, 3 games each of the last 2 seasons. Is that correct? I might be wrong. I might have given them an extra win somewhere. COVID dysfunction. I think you would agree, talent dysfunction. James, explain to me what you expect out of Danny. What would make it like? So, what do you want to hear? Do you want to hear from him? This is a unique place. Tell me what you like? Like after 3 games, which I don't even think it's arguable to have a conversation on whether or not they're better. Is it? Is there any in any context? Yeah, I guess the context you could argue. Well, look at what they're giving up defensively. Look at their defensive numbers. If you've got eyes, if you could look at scores, stats, games, sheets, whatever you want, it's not even arguable that they're better. So James, I'll ask you. I mean, send me a note. What is it that you would want from Danny after 3 games? Well, I want to win. Okay, I think everybody wants to win. But what like, did he steal your girlfriend? Did he beat you up? Did he take your lunch money? Like, why? What did he do to you that it, or are you Bob Davies' nephew? Where is it? Honestly, what is it you wanted out of this guy except aside? Well, he hasn't won. Okay, Bob Davies lost his last 9. But somehow you're like, well, I mean, how come he didn't get a fair shake? They went 3-9, 3-9, 2-10, and had unbelievable dysfunction within the program. I just, JJ, help me. What am I missing there?
I don't think you're missing anything. I think there's just one person that is not on board the Danny Gonzalez bandwagon at this point in time. It's easy. Yeah, what do you want to see? Wins. That's the whole point. It's what you invest in programs to do, is develop student athletes to win, even in college athletics. But it's a situation where there was a whole lot to redo with this program. And to your point, if you've just been able to see this team play this season, it's an entirely different story and game script.
All right, let's go. Marty, you're up on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning. Bear with me, guys, on this little thing here. Science, okay?
Weird science.
Our governor wants to base everything on science, along with, is it Scarce?
Sgrace.
Sgrace, okay. So write this number down. A micrometer, a micrometer. This is what they measure the virus. And when you look at it under the microscope, I looked this up, the number is 0.000000001. That's a micrometer.
Okay.
So 5 micrometers, 6 zeros, and a 1. So in an inch, it's 0.0000006 zeros and 39. Now, the safest place to play a competitive game is underground. Now, the pit is 4 stories underground. Okay, check this out. Virus decreases over time, lives longest on plastic, and still up to 72 hours. It does poorly on copper, 2 hours.
Damn, you've done your research.
On cardboard, it survives 24 hours. So if you touch anything with cardboard in the store, UPS, FedEx, whatever, make sure you wipe it down. It has the highest concentration form of micrometers. Okay.
Got it.
So they did an experiment. If you released aerosol at a height of 6 feet, the average person's height, takes 40 minutes to reach the ground. After that, it disintegrates. So, UNM's pit would be so safe that, and science doesn't lie, right? Because they base everything on science. I looked this up.
I guess.
They have articles on this. I mean, this is amazing stuff. So,
all right. So you're saying it's safer? No, Marty, appreciate it. You're saying it's safe to play underneath, play in the pit, right?
Yeah, it's 4 stories underground.
Got it. All right. Thanks, man. Marty it's our crack research staff, JJ. So what are we doing? Why are we going to Vegas? Why are we going to California? I mean, hell, play 4 stories underground. It's safe there.
Dig more holes.
Dig more holes. Dig more holes. Jerry, good morning. You are on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning. I just got to respond to, I think his name was Dave, that was whining about our football coach. He's an idiot.
It was
I've
James.
watched every game, and they are so much better than last year. They were better the first game with less than a week of contact practice than they were ever at the end of last season. Danny Gonzalez has them going in the right direction. Rocky Long, good Lord, the defense with what they've got is just unbelievable. Danny Gonzalez is going to bring this team to, I'm just going to say, respectability. And I think if there's anybody that can bring a championship to Lobo football, it's him. So idiots like him probably think the virus is a hoax too. So don't pay any attention to him, folks. We got too many of them roaming around this country that are just spewing ignorance, and so that's my 2
No, it's
cents.
good, Jerry. I appreciate it, Jerry, and I think you're right. And JJ, I'm going to tell you, I think he's already brought him to respectability. I know they're 0-3. I got it. But if you watch that football team play, that was Nevada's a team that you and I and most people in this league believe is going to contend for the conference championship, right? San Jose State, Nevada, Boise State. We thought San Jose State beat them. We think Nevada's one of the 3 or 4 best teams in this league, right?
Yeah, they've put themselves in that position.
Okay. And they were in a position to win. They moved the ball down the field, were in position, dropped 2 balls on a final drive that would have potentially won the game. I would argue that they're already respectable. This is a whole different way. If you think that they haven't gotten better, A, you have not watched, or B, you don't have eyes. There's no way to watch this team over the 3 games, and they've gotten better each week, and say that's not better than what we watched last year. It's just, you're not looking at it objectively. You're not looking at it fairly if that's how you feel. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Played over to Madrid. Plays it across the box off the dasher. It's settled. Shot up by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Shot on and just wide. Big deflection. Goal.
With this first field goal. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Not a game you can go have 25 turnovers in and win.
Get that out of here, Watson says. Here comes Hodnett all the way. He's blocked in return. Dickey, did he get it off? He did, and he hit it. They're really... Oliveras. Wild 3, and it hit.
Another steal nearly by Hiron. It is a steal. Avalos ahead to Hiron. The 2-hand hammer by Hiron. I knew he was going to put that one down.
ProView Networks tonight.
District matchup there.
Davidson took it away in transition. Might be time for a jam. Yes,
Oh! Nick Barton, watch him, coach. Watch the inbounder.
Dumas Sanchez in the corner.
Back to Barton with 2.4 seconds left. Fires for the win.
And he got it!
And it's good.
Oh my God!
On the last second shot.
He did! Oh my God!
banks it in from 25 feet, and watch the celebration right in front of us. What a shot by Barton. He was double teamed and somehow found a way to get it in.
Ramos to Gaxiola, high window for the win. It's good. It counts. Gaxiola with the game winner for a Driscoll Heritage. Has that ball stolen. Jeremy Segura.
Dribble, spin cycle, up and under move. What a pass. Wrap around pass.
Harris, Legate, the long bomb, 3 ball.
Oh, great steal by Quinteros, lays it up and scores.
A little jump step in the...
And look out, here comes Agbayosi. Crawford set. That's blocked. Lansing says, get that out of here. Sister to sister, Marianne Lansing's going to go all the way. Turnaround. Ramos, pump fake, everyone bites. Ramos hits.
Jackson loses it. Jalen Bond back, alley-oop, put it down. Dunkalicious. How about
and guys that aren't here anymore that would make this team a Mountain West competitor.
Vance Jackson's the one that pops up, right? And because I don't think you're wrong on that. I think a lot of the guys who have left, how many of them? Yeah, the one
people were done with Elijah Brown. They hated him. At the
no doubt. Mathis bothered you, but that
McNeil went and played in Cincinnati in a backup role.
All right, there was one that went to Arkansas, right? There was a guard that went to Arkansas.
Jalen Harris, who went to Arkansas and actually just left Arkansas.
How about I got one? Cullen Neal went to Ole Miss. Oh,
Jordan Hunter. Damian Jefferson.
Well, Anthony Mathis. That bothered people. I think of all the transfers, would you say when he left, that bothered people the most?
Yeah, because people didn't understand what happened.
I don't blame him, by the way.
Oh, you get a year back and then you play it at Oregon? Like, what's happening?
I don't blame them, by the way. I think Vance bothers them, right? This one was like, what? But it was zero surprise. I told you back in December he wasn't coming back. Mathis bothered you. Your point's not wrong now. How many of these guys have transferred and just been stars elsewhere? You're absolutely right.
But it does go into lack of development. The thing is, you're not recruiting 4 to 6 guys that are going to be here 3 to 4 years. I think even if you want that, you understand that's not going to happen. So what's the right balance? And that's the question, because I think you can get talented players and then still not win because there's things missing, whether it is team chemistry, it's continuity, or it's a coaching staff. And you want to talk about turnover. Who's beside Paul Weir?
Yeah.
I think that does play a role into it. When you talk about confidence and player development.
Yeah. And a whole new bench for a lot of reasons, right? I mean, Jerome Robinson just left. It wasn't working. Craig Snow got out of basketball. Brandon Mason had his DUI issue. But when it comes down to it, does it matter? I mean, when you're flipping everything over, yeah, I think the continuity issue completely goes down to the staff as well. All right, you sent a bunch of emails in, and they're good. Jeff at 610knml.com or JJ at 610knml.com. I want to continue to have the conversation, right? Where have they gone? And this is a generational thing too. It is. The old school people who watched Royce Olney and Clayton Shields and Kenny Thomas and David Gibson start for 4 years here and go to the NCAA tournament for 4 years while they started here. And they're like, where are those days? Tell me, you got to explain to those guys, and I get where they're coming from. So this is better? When we had guys here that were here for 4 years, we were going to the second round of the NCAA tournament. Now you're telling me this transfer portal thing is bringing in all these great players, and we're not even going to the NIT. And I get it. It's a different world 23 years later. But I understand it. 505-246-0610. No down payment for a new home? No problem. Get a jump start at Kirtland Federal Credit Union. The Jump Start Down Payment Assistance Program can give you up to $6,000 towards your new home. And this is not a loan. You don't have to pay it back as long as you stay in your home for 4 years. Prices are high right now. A down payment could put that dream home out of reach, but don't let that happen. If you've never owned a home or you haven't owned a home in the last 3 years, you could qualify. Get a jump start on home ownership. Apply for your Jump Start assistance today. Go to kirtlandfcu.org/jumpstart. That's kirtlandfcu.org/jumpstart. Kirtland Federal Credit Union, they are more than military. They are for life. Kirtland Federal Credit Union is an equal housing lender federally insured by the NCUA.
Caught by Kelsey. He's got
Don't
the touchdown.
Sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili, breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side. Provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown. Webskowski. Day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man, touchdown, Wildcats. Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Webskowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Rancho late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman, he's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's Krebs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Getting him in here, working on a time that works with him. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, and Micah. 505-246-0610. And JJ, I think you and I theoretically agree the transfer portal is necessary. I think there's no way around it in today's basketball, and it has absolutely helped the University of New Mexico. Elijah Brown, and I mean, go back to J.R. Giddens, and I don't know, Danny Granger. You have benefited greatly from Tim Williams from the transfer portal, but what does it do to your club, your roster? To year and year, how many? Like, where's the tipping point? is 3, 4, and obviously you can't just throw arbitrary numbers out. You're talking about the individuals and who are the people, who is coming in, who is going out, how is it making your team better or worse?
George on the line.
We are all on the same page, but I do think that there's some realities. Just like the Lobos are not an at-large team. The Lobos are not a program that's going to consistently just recruit freshmen and develop winners on a yearly basis. That's not who they are. Like, Kenny Thomas isn't walking through that door. Like
he might.
He can walk through the door, but he's not eligible to play. Those days are gone, and that's why that era, like that group that Steve Alford was able to have, that's like once in a century type of stuff. Like, just that staff clicking, the timing of all those guys converging at the same time. Kendall Williams, Hugh Greenwood, Alex Kirk, Cameron Barishow, Tony Snell. Like, yeah, that's what you're always going to strive to. But think about it. There's not a coach like Steve Alford around here anymore. Look at what Steve Alford is doing at Nevada. He's not even at that level where he can just walk in and get a whole bunch of highly touted freshmen. The game has changed. You're not at the same level you were back in the day to do that on a consistent basis. You have to be able to balance it. And to your point, there's not an exact number on it. What it comes down to is how good your coach is, the character of the people you bring in. Like, can you manage that? Because these guys are coming a lot of times for a second chance because it didn't work out at a power conference school.
And this is why I think so much, you mentioned in the last segment on your staff. How does your staff handle the characters that are coming in, the people who are coming in? Brant says, where have you gone, Royce only? Jeff, I remember watching a game at Bears Place when Royce nailed a bomb and ran down the field shushing Miners. There was a Lobo fan next to me that gleefully reminded UTEP folks to get used to that. He was a freshman and would be doing that to the Miners for 3 more seasons. To me, that's what college sports is all about. Guys put on the cherry and silver as boys and follow their development until they graduate as men. Is there anyone on this roster you're comfortable saying will still be on the club 3 months from now, let alone 3 seasons from now? Well, yeah, 3 months from now there are. There are. Now, 3 seasons from now, I have no idea. Jason sent me a list of Lobo transfers. Damian Jefferson to Creighton, Jalen Harris, Arkansas to Georgetown, Jordan Hunter to Lamar, Uhiru Guak to Loyola Chicago, Vance Jackson, Arkansas, Mathis, Oregon, Troy Simmons to Kent, Chris McNeil to Cincinnati, Tavian Percy to Weber State, Vladimir, God, he did his work for an Aggie. Well, I mean, for an Aggie doing Lobo work. Vladimir Pinchuk is at USD. Kareem Ezzedine signed a pro contract. Connor McDougal at Utah Valley. Vontae Hendricks, J.J. Caldwell, Drew Drin, and Zane Martin are all TBD. Wow.
Zane Martin went back to town.
Stuff. Did he?
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate our crack staff doing their work today, by the way. Between him and Marty, I mean, our staff is doing some research. George, no kidding. George, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. What's up, George?
Good morning. The Star is #1 most valuable franchise in the world. And having a pretty bad season, unfortunately. Anyway, Lobo basketball, a couple of things. One, I think the coach that we got now made his name off of Siakam down at New Mexico State, is now a 2nd or 3rd team NBA All-Star. And unless we can recruit somebody like that, I really don't see us doing a whole lot. And I just don't think he's that good a coach. But he had that ball player, and that, a ball player makes a big, big difference. The other thing about competing, Arizona and these other schools are paying players. Miller got away with it looks like. They busted the assistant coaches there and a couple other schools. And just a little bit of history, I had a long talk with an assistant coach that was heavily involved in recruiting Moses Malone. And back in the day, Moses Malone, of course, we ended up in #2 to Maryland. He signed with Maryland, and we were in the final 2 for that. And of course, he left Maryland also before he went to the NBA. But the bottom line on that recruitment was that we ran out of money, is what the assistant coach told me. And as the merry-go-round goes round, it goes round. I guess Maryland ran out of money too. Anyway, guys, a little bit of history for you, and just wondering about our coach. I just think like I said, he had a ball player that really nobody knew about, and he took advantage of that, of course, and parlayed that into the Lobo job. But I'm not sold on his coaching. So anyway, have a great day, guys, and great Thanksgiving. If I don't get a chance to talk to you.
You as well. Thank you, George. Appreciate it. Look, I think everybody knows back in those days, and maybe even now, JJ. I mean, Lord knows, who's paying and what the recruiting deal is. I always said I wouldn't want to be a college coach just because the recruiting thing it just always has felt filthy to me. Always has felt filthy. And how do you stay true to yourself when you know other guys aren't, even if you're doing it the right way, other guys aren't, and how do you get sucked into it? It's kind of, like the steroids thing, or, if everybody else is doing it and getting better, at some point you have to justify to yourself, all right, I've got to change my beliefs. I don't know, man. Can you recruit? Yeah. How does Wichita State do it? Are they just paying guys? I mean, is that what you're telling me? How's San Diego State doing it? How did Nevada get the Martin twins? At some point, and then you brought up development quite a bit, right? At some point, you got to develop. How do you make guys feel right and develop? Is it consistency amongst coaching staff? Is it playing time? Is it? And the answer is yes to all of those, by the way, right?
Yeah, it's easy to look at recent results and say, well, it's not working, which is understandable when it comes to Lobo basketball. But the realization of what Mountain West basketball is, you have to be good at both. You have to find some diamonds in the rough. You have to get some guys that come in and develop, and you have to be good in the transfer portal.
Yeah, all that's right. All right, let me read you this Jason email, and because there's a lot in it. Actually, I'll do that. It's a really good email, and I'm going to read it to you when we come back because, we've got to. I want you to think about this. Is maybe somebody watching your home? If the bad guy wants to get in, they're going to know when you come, when you go. Call International Protective Service, IPS. IPS is who I trust to watch my home. I know you see their vehicles around town. Thousands of homeowners and business owners in Albuquerque and Santa Fe trust IPS to protect what's important to them. IPS will patrol your home. I rolled out the other day, and there was the officers sitting there just making their presence known. If your alarm goes off, IPS responds. Within 5 to 7 minutes with a trained armed security officer, police take hours to show up. Bad guys are looking for advantages. It's a holiday season. You're going to have stuff delivered to your porch. Don't be a victim. International Protective Services making our city a safer place to live and work. No contracts. Call IPS and get the peace of mind that you need. 505-897-2420 is the number. Area code 505-897-2420, or visit them at ipsglobal.com.
Cordova tried to throw it off Romero. A three for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos. Step back. High arcing. Playing it.
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, little kick.
They leave it one more time. Two-hand hammer.
Look at this, they're going to go score again. Look at this.
Up top! Yes! And the finish for Akbayosi.
Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack to Davina Lovato. Up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Dorian over. Did he get
Yeah,
in?
they got in. He got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
To the right, single receiver split to the left. Play fake, head up the middle, got some room. 50, 45, 40, has one man to beat. 30, 25, 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Hope.
Wow.
On a...
Option again, he'll keep it. Now he'll pitch it. Comes out to the 30, 25, 20, up the sideline. Still inbounds, into the end zone. Let's see.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Portel.
And I get it. It's porque it's Nuevo Mexico. It is mid-November. Buckets. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buckets. Micah Alden. All right, got a little more time for you to get in at 246-0610.
One thing I want to add to this conversation, Jeff.
Uh-oh.
Do we think that these Lobo fans talking about, the transfer portal and I want to see development, are going to let a player and coach sit around for 3 or 4 years to get better?
No, you know that. Well, certainly not in the 3rd or 4th year either.
He's going to be so good as a senior, but you ain't winning. Bye.
That's a great point. All right, so your point is essential. So the first year that Paul was here, he inherited a team that overachieved. I think everybody kind of felt they overachieved. And so you're like, wow, this coach can develop. Look at these guys develop. They got better. Look at what Anthony Mathis, guy that was lingering on the bench. And so the second year, I think Paul felt a lot of pressure to go out and win and took chances. And last year, he had to win, right? Had to kind of win. And so they had the chances with Bragg and Caldwell and Jaquan Lyle. It didn't work. It didn't work. So your point's not wrong. In fact, your point's dead on, because all of you who are saying, and I'd even go back to Don, all of you who are saying, well, develop and are you willing to watch them develop? Now, what you want is hit on some damn recruits and have them come in here and play, and let's see some progress as sophomore. I'm watching guys play all around the country as freshmen and even around this league and develop. Now, I know that's what you want. That's the answer. But your point's not lost. That's actually a good one.
And I think, like, when you look at this Lobo roster, it has that balance. But then you go back to coaching, continuity, development. Because I like Emmanuel Quach. I'm excited to see his development. I think Kirk Wedgeschneider, you got a guy that, just doesn't need the basketball. He can, you saw the effort to be a defender on the perimeter. You've seen the development of Quach Malawach in his career, a guy that's been able to stick around. Javante Johnson, Byron Matos, hyped freshman with the transfers. Like, this should be kind of the balanced roster you're looking for. There you go.
All right. Confirmed tomorrow, 9 a.m., Chris Jans will be with us, New Mexico State's basketball coach. So we'll catch up with him and kind of get, we're going to be a week from Basketball starting around the country tomorrow, so you get to catch up with Jans coming up, the New Mexico State coach, tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Speaking of Aggie basketball, here's Jason. He said, winter is here. Good morning, OD. Ah, yes, the dusty cloud has descended on the 505. The leaves have fallen. There is a nip in the air, and of course, Lobo fan and media people hurling superlatives when discussing players in Lobo basketball. 2020 has been a different year, but it's nice to hear the one thing that does not change in the 505 is the overhype of Lobo hoops. The coaching staff is the best ever assembled this side of John Wooden or Coach K's Power 5 coaching development program. Speaking of Coach K, his recruiting class has nothing on the crew that will potentially take the floor, donning the cherry and silver. I wonder how far into the season we will hear this team's not that talented. Mea culpa. Okay, on to Aggie hoops. My suggestion is bubble in Vegas or Tucson and play exclusively road games. The team Jans has put together would embrace the challenge, and I think the road games would ultimately pay for the expense of bubbling. Crimsonly, Jason. P.S. So let me say this. The transfer portal talk needs context. Yes, teams use the transfer portal effectively, but, and here's more research and numbers, JJ, 11% of programs had 4 or more transfers in a year, and those programs had a winning percentage under 450. So the Lobos have not been normal. UNM had 6 transfers out of the program last season. By the way, Lobo fans skewered Craig Neal when they thought Lobo Hoops would lose 4 players to the transfer portal. In 2020, 6 transfers means the gym teacher deserves a gold star and possibly a banner in the pit. Maybe it can sit next to the NIT banners. It's from Jason. All right. According to his research, and he's been pretty spot on, JJ, I haven't verified it. We haven't independently verified the research. But he's saying only 11 programs had 4. So 4 is above average, and they had 6. And last year they had a big number 2. So look, somewhere in the middle there's the sweet spot, and you got to find it at some point. And I think ideally you'd like to develop some players and keep them in your program, right? I think you're muted.
Are you on mute, Jeff?
Yeah, I think you're muted. I saw your lips moving.
Yeah, the numbers in that case don't lie, and it's all about finding the right balance. Because you can go down to New Mexico State, and their best players have been transfers, right? But it's because you believe in the coach, you believe in the culture, in the chemistry, and that is what feels like that's been the missing link for Lobo basketball, is really honing in on having a coach that you feel has control over everything.
Yep. You know what solves it all? I think you do. Winning. All right, this came down half hour ago. Greg Marshall has resigned at Marshall. Internal investigation into allegations of physical and verbal abuse. Quote from Marshall. And by the way, he walks away with a contract settlement. Do you see what the settlement is over the next 6 years? He will be paid $7.75 million over the next 6 years to walk away. I'm in.
So did he do something or not?
Quote, this was a difficult decision, but one I feel was necessary for my family, the university, and most importantly, the student athletes. I remain grateful for my years spent at Wichita State. I wish to thank the coaches, student athletes, the university, the community, and all Shocker Nation for their unending dedication, support, and loyalty. I am incredibly proud of this men's basketball program and all it has achieved over the past 14 years, and I'm confident of its continued success, end quote. The athletic director, Darren Boatwright, said our student athletes are a primary concern. While the university acknowledges the success of the basketball program under Coach Marshall, the decision is in the best interest of the university, its student athletes, and the WSU community. WSU will continue its pursuit of excellence with the help of the student athletes, staff, and loyal supporters of the program. So nobody really, look, they hired an outside firm. Isaac Brown is an assistant coach. He will take over as the interim coach. You will hear Chris Jans's name for this job.
Yeah.
Will you not?
I believe you will. And none of that makes sense. That is a whole lot of we didn't want to fire Greg Marshall, but it just got too hot in the kitchen. So we're going to let him walk away with a ton of money because we don't think he did something wrong. But here we are.
$7.75 million over 6 years.
If you're giving him $7.5 million to go away, then you didn't think he did anything. Because if he did something, this is with cause, and you wouldn't be paying him.
If he did something, this would be with cause, right? And so I don't know what the investigation showed, this internal investigation. But obviously there was enough heat on Marshall that he felt he needed to get out. This one's going to be interesting to discuss, and we'll get into this tomorrow. Interested what Jerry has to say when we talk to him on Thursday. Jim Rome Show is next, and Patrick Show's after that. Sports Bar, more local sports talk with Trulio and Carlisle. Comes your way at 3. We're back with more award-winning radio tomorrow at 7 a.m. Micah, terrific work, as always. Alden, J-Paul, great work on the ProView Network side. You can rewatch the show this afternoon. Alden, what time do we re-air on Channel 26? Do we have a time yet? You'll give me that time, and I'll let people know. All right. JJ, enjoy the day.
Y'all enjoy it as well.
Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
Hey, it's Michael Carlisle. For years, I've been telling you that Ben Lucero at Indigo Mortgage is a mortgage broker. That's a big deal for you when you need a loan to buy a home.